When World War I was beginning, Russia played a big role. They weren't just going to sit around and let Austria dominate the Balkans. Russia had invaded the Balkans in the 1870s and planned to redraw the borders to dominate the area, but the other European powers said, "Hey, that's an unfair gain of power in our balance of power system called the Concert of Europe." Basically, the Concert of Europe was set up to ensure that among the great European powers, no one gained too much power over anybody else because then somebody could suffer from insecurity, resulting in a massive war destroying the continent. So when Russia beat the Ottomans in the 1870s, Austria got Bosnia and Britain got Cyprus, even though neither of those two countries took part in the war. So for Austria to just get Serbia for free without contest was completely unfair. Russia had always wanted to capture Constantinople to ensure trade and movement through the Straits, and so for Austria to dominate its nearby regions would be an existential threat. They warned Austria, and Germany warned Russia for warning Austria, and when both countries ignored the warnings, war broke out. They were connected by religion and culture to countries like Serbia, Montenegro, Bulgaria, Romania, and Greece. So World War I was a great opportunity to secure this area. They also wanted to weaken Germany as they believed Germany was growing into a powerful country. Russia had a parliament but was basically an absolute monarchy where the Tsar had all the power. It was industrializing but not to the extent of the rest of the world. It had taken on a lot of debt to reach this point and was struggling financially. Russia was optimistic that their large size and population would help them in the war, and planned to defeat the Central Powers, taking areas around the Niemen River from Germany and taking Galicia, which had many Poles and Ukrainians within it, from Austria. They invaded both these areas immediately. However, they got their asses kicked in the opening days of the war. At the Battle of Tannenberg in August, the entire Russian Second Army was destroyed. For reference, Russia had 9 armies at the beginning of the war. This made the Russians a little bit worried. They said, maybe in the modern day, having our army still use horse and cart and only have like one telephone between 100,000 guys and also 90% of our officers are nobles isn't an effective way to conduct a war. They immediately switched up priorities and began to modernize the army and allow meritocracy in the officer corps, but it would take time for this to flow through. In the meantime, the Central Powers began their offensive and pushed into Russian Poland, and Russia just kept losing. It got worse when the Ottomans joined the war and began attacking in the Caucasus. These losses continued until 1916, by which point Russia had lost all of Poland and some of Lithuania and Belarus. Reforms helped to flip their fortunes. They began an offensive across the Caucasus Mountains in the winter of 1916, defeating the Turks and capturing several important pieces of land on the other side of the mountains with help from local Armenians who thought they would be liberated. They began a great offensive against Austria in Galicia. They did not capture a lot of land, but inflicted a large number of casualties and forced the Central Powers to slow the advance in the west. On the home front, things were not looking great. The Empress of Russia was actually born in Germany, and people didn't like that a foreigner had power. Additionally, she started hanging out with this mystic called Rasputin, and they were casting spells and stuff like five a line, which notably had no impact on the Russian war effort. Food shortages and inflation hurt the poor a lot. So the poor and the soldiers who were experiencing kaboom were upset. The rich were all like la 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 la, and got more upset when the casualties from the war began increasing from the new offensive. Strikes broke out and were followed by riots which the army could not get under control, and a group of workers had established their own council in the capital. The government realized the only way to get the situation under control was to depose the Tsar and create a republic, which they did. This new republic promised to do things like ensure freedom of speech and opinion, improve workers' rights, and create a big push to win the war. What? But we overthrew the government because of the big push, not because we wanted another one. So Russia continued to decline further under the republic. Germany noticed that a dangerous Russian communist named Vladimir Lenin was hanging out in Switzerland and said, maybe we could pay him to go and weaken Russia. And they sent him off to go and weaken Russia. He inflamed popular opinion against the Republic, and eventually when they could not improve the situation, another revolt happened that saw the communists seize power. This resulted in a civil war throughout Russia. The Germans were quick to exploit the situation and resume their push into the country. Russia was too busy fighting a brutal civil war, but for some reason thought they were in a position to negotiate. Germany was like, "Can we have this?" And the communists said no. So Germany was like, and then said, "Alright, now sign the damn peace treaty." And Russia officially left World War I. Now, the story does not end there. When Germany began collapsing with their defeat in World War I, Russia invaded the several new countries that Germany had created, which were weak and unorganized. Russia failed to capture most of them, being defeated by Poland, Finland, Lithuania, Latvia, and Estonia, but successfully captured Ukraine and Belarus. So in short, Russia performed so badly in World War I that it ceased to exist and transformed into the Soviet Union. Okay, that's the video. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. I hope you learned a lot, and I will see you in the next one.